Mike, hello. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
How are you, Okas? I appreciate you having me on. I have been a big fan of Hustlers University for quite some time and Tate in general, and it's a real privilege to be here. I've been looking forward to this interview. I got a notification about this might happen. Maybe it was a couple months ago by now, so I've had you on my mind since then.
Who
Appreciate you
was that
having me.
from? Was that from Seth or someone else?
No, it wasn't from Sev. It was probably from the CC plus AI campus. I think is where I saw. Now, actually, it might have been the client acquisition campus because that's where I was having a lot of success on the leaderboard. And people said that, the more success I had, you might get to meet Rokas. I saw the opportunity to apply to interview with you. I thought it was based on the coursework. And so I was just ripping through the coursework and watching the videos, taking notes, and then, applied to talk to you. I must have been, maybe early this year or very, very end of last year. But it's cool to finally be here.
Indeed. So looking forward to catching up on your success story. Because I reached out to you because I saw you on the leaderboards. Because yeah, I do get a lot of applications. Sometimes I miss them. So apologies for it would seem I probably missed yours through Telegram.
Oh, no
But yeah,
worries.
so you're on the leaderboard. You proved yourself. So now here we are.
Thank
And
you.
I saw you on the leaderboards in CC plus AI. So I guess let's begin with that. How
Sure.
did CC and AI, in other words, content creation and AI, how did that campus contribute to the wins that you posted?
Sure. Yeah, that was the fastest wins that came from my CC plus AI education. It was awesome. I started posting talk to camera social media videos based on my specific industry. I focus on real estate. I do luxury vacation rentals. And so I was posting, talking about that. That includes short term rentals like you think Airbnb, or midterm rentals where I work with insurance companies after a family who's insured has a fire, flood, or substantial remodel and they have to move. So I will then take that insurance contract, find that family a house, and make a margin. And so I was posting about that, and it was as if there was a backlog of demand to give me money. And as I started posting, it was like November 1st, I think I did my first post, and I posted every single day, and I did not miss, and I made 40 grand maybe in the first 6 weeks. It was crazy. It was just people were so excited to hear what I had to say, and amazing feedback in the DMs. But what was awesome about the campus specifically is that I nobody let me off the hook, and I'm talking about the professors. There was 4 exams that I had to pass plus the final before I was, officially successful or whatever in that campus. And because I'm charismatic and personable, I thought that I'd be able to float by compared to maybe some other submissions. And the professors were having none of it. They're like, no, adjust the camera, sit here, posture this way. And it's like, okay, all right. And I took every piece of advice and implemented it into my social, and I just started gaining followers by the hundreds. It was crazy. Which for me, I have a small account, so that was actually a big deal. And I just started skyrocketing. It was awesome. So 40 grand right out of the gate from CC plus AI alone, and then some other success that we could talk about as well.
Super cool. Okay, so to clarify, that sounds like the UGC lessons that you went through, correct?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
You applied those to record videos for social media, and then people reached out to you through social media. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, in my DMs saying, "Hey, can you teach me more? Can you coach me? Can you help me understand this problem?" And then I'd be able to sell them and say, "Well, of course I could help you if you join my program." And so it was easy money.
Awesome. Any other lessons you applied from CC plus AI outside of UGC?
Yeah, I mean, it was so cool going down the depths of the tech behind AI and things like stable diffusion and warp fusion. And I have an assistant who's exceptionally artistic. She's fantastic. But she's, Canva based. And when we were going through this stuff, I'm like, just take time out of your workday and just learn warp fusion. I want you to be able to light me on fire like Tate did in that one video. And so we just, started doing some research and some cool effects of, how to make logos look, in motion. So she made the Bentley logo fly, or she saw a video of the Bentley logo fly and tried to recreate it or something like that. So just learning about that art to improve my content creation. And then even just to figure out like what's important. What is important when you're delivering a message as far as the hook, the story? What are you actually giving in value at the end where they're not like, well, I just wasted 30 to 90 seconds of my time,
Mhm.
every time I see this kid's video. Because, I posted every single day. I felt like, am I being annoying? But it was great to just root myself back into, no, I'm giving value, and watching the likes validate as well as the money validate the effort that I was putting in.
Okay, awesome. And is that where you mentioned earlier client acquisition and social media? Is that where that campus came in, or was that a different endeavor?
Yeah, no, the same kind of endeavor. I have two businesses. My coaching business is the one that I associated with the Hustlers University lessons the most because it was directly related to my content creation. But as I started going through Hustlers University, I was finding all these other campuses, and so I joined CC plus AI first, but social media plus client acquisition was next. And then shortly after that, I added business mastery as well. The nice thing about working with Professor Moneybags and Professor Arno was that, especially running two businesses, like I said, I'm not even addressing my primary business as much as it relates to Hustlers University. What I like to say this is having the guidance from professors that I trust who are millionaires in this discipline allowed me to know that what I was doing was complete. I'm not missing anything and correct. So I could just keep my head down and keep going. And so it was fantastic having all of that, from the other lessons as well, supplement what I was doing. So it wasn't just about, how to make the best post. It was how to create a business around the posts. And that's where I started. I posted my wins in the client acquisition campus as well, and started, having routine success on that leaderboard, which was awesome. And again, that's only in my secondary business. So it was awesome. The way the education was directly and immediately translatable. Things like DMs, how to treat people, outbound, how to connect with people who I didn't already know, how to convert people. All three of those professors, Pope, Moneybags, and Arno, have been monumental in how I've created financial success in the last 6 months to 7 months. Actually, maybe a little longer right now. I think I've been in Hustlers University since October. So it's 10 months now.
All right. What first came to mind when you mentioned client acquisition, social media, and then business mastery? But people who are confused, how do those two campuses differ? And which would you recommend depending on the situation of the person?
It's a great question. I think the critical difference is the deliverable of the content versus the business strategy. And the deliverable of the content is the content creation plus AI campus. And that's specifically, what is your message? How do you convey it? And how is your image on the screen? Whether it's horizontal for YouTube long form or short form, Reels, Instagram, 9:16. And how to position yourself in the frame and how to communicate effectively. Those specific details of what you're putting out there, I think you'll get more success from the content creation plus AI campus. But then to actually convert those pieces of fantastic content into money is more of a business strategic thing. You need to acquire the clients. You need to know how to communicate with them. And whether it's social media DMs, which seems to be Professor Moneybag's priority, or copywriting, which I know is also his priority, to show people how to benefit from your services. I think that's where the business strategy side, you're probably better off in the second campus, social media plus client acquisition. It's less about what the image is on their screen and more about how you convert that into sales.
Very well explained. Thank you. And probably something I should have asked earlier, but I really wanted to dive into it. When you first joined Hustlers University, what was it like navigating the platform? Was it easy to get started? Were there any hiccups? Because if there were hiccups, that could help other new people who are joining.
Sure. I don't think there was any hiccups, like anything wrong. I had been in Discord channels previously, and the layout is kind of similar. So it was fairly intuitive, and I was able to navigate it. It's only weird of the layout where the buttons go, and how do you get to the courses versus the chats versus other campuses. But as soon as you figure that out in the first day or so, then I found it pretty easy to navigate and also easy to prioritize. I think Hustlers University does a great job of explaining what's available so that you know where to begin. It recommended that I start with ecom, not realizing, because obviously how would anybody know, that I already had a business. And so ecom wasn't specifically my goal. I still actually ended up joining and taking the video course for ecom and wrote out all my SOPs of when I start that business later, but that was more of a weekend fun project. I was able to clearly see what is offered in Hustlers University and where I should focus based on my specific situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood. And another thing I should have probably asked earlier, how did you actually find out about Hustlers University and what led to you joining it?
I started out with Tate's free content. I really aligned with his vision on just about everything. I'm sure I have some things that that aren't coming to the top of my head right now that maybe we differ in certain opinions, but overall, I very much align with Tate. I appreciate the way he conveys his message, and the no holds barred, this is exactly how I feel, I don't care who feels differently kind of way. There's not a lot of people speaking like that. And Tristan complements that really well and brings more out of Andrew. And so just being a genuine, not only fan, but like, I want to say student of Tate, even from his free content on Rumble, it was, that's where he would mention Hustlers University and other ways to get involved with the community. And then growing obviously through the war room and everything like that. And I genuinely believe in, as Tristan puts it, you need the money and the mandem. And I'm in America where things are not great right now. So I wanted to, get as involved as I can in this community of brothers who really want to take themselves and their businesses and their community of brothers to the next level as a group. I felt like this entire community really resonated with where my head is at.
Hmm. Are you looking to relocate? Just wondering.
I'm looking to have multiple location options. I love where I am. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, USA, and I enjoy this desert. I also like Florida on the East Coast, and I'm from New York originally, so I'd like to have a place in each. But thanks to Tate's, especially his recent lessons and recent current events, I am interested in getting some citizenship in Italy and Dubai as well.
Very cool. Okay. Let's do more personal about you now. We've
Sure.
discussed quite a bit about Hustlers University, but I want to know more about Mike. So,
Okay.
is your average day looking any different since joining Hustlers University, or was it fairly similar before as well?
I'll say it's similar structurally because I've always been, I don't like the word workaholic because I think it has a negative connotation. I have goals and I believe in those goals. And so I work towards those goals. And so I'm generally a 7 to 11 kind of guy. I wake up in time to get seated in coffee by 7 a.m. and I'll work till 11 p.m. Obviously, if I have to push later, I will. And things come up and changes. But that's been my cadence since even before Hustlers University because that's just how I'm wired, which is, as I said, about aligning with Tate. Work, like, fun isn't fun. I don't want to be at parties. I'm not interested in the nightclubs anymore. I'm 31 years old. I just want to build. And so that was kind of how my day was structured anyway. But maybe the way I go through my day now is a little different. My priorities are different, and the psyche behind it, it's not stress. I have to work because I have to get things done. It's more of a building for fun because I see where I'm going and I see the vision not only for my businesses but also for Hustlers University. And now he's daddy and everything that's going on with his crypto tokens. I see where the vision is going, and I want to be a part of that. So maybe the mentals behind my work is more, it's more fun and positive building as opposed to like stressed out. I got to work because that's what I do because I haven't hit my goal yet. And so I feel like I'm more positive and relaxed in my day as I build bigger.
Oh. Have your plans changed at all since joining, or is it still fairly similar to what you had planned a year ago, let's say?
My goals are bigger. And I think that is attributable to Hustlers University, the captains, the professors, and the Tate brothers, because I see how attainable it is. And I've been a very dedicated work ethic kind of person my entire life, but the self-image has always been, well, I'm growing. And I've never really struggled with confidence, but the new self-image is in much nicer cars, in much nicer houses, in many more locations with higher quality friends. And there's no hesitation knowing that as I level up, there are people at that level who will embrace me and my ideologies because I'm in Hustlers University, and then the war room will be next. And I just see the progression, growing like that.
Hmm. Very cool. Um, if you don't mind, family? Do you have family?
Yeah, I have a brother in Florida. My mom's in Florida. My dad bounces back from New York in Florida. And my dad owns a small business. He owns an optical store on Long Island. And he's always been renowned in his craft, but it's still a small business. So my goals certainly surpass that. And I want to leverage my education here in Hustlers University to far exceed anything that my family's ever done.
Ah, that's, I guess, a pretty cool feeling to know that you're the. Would it be an ego thing to say though? You're the most accomplished person in the family, the richest.
You know, it's not, and that is not something I've thought of in with that articulation before. But you're actually correct. I have my law degree. I was an attorney before I got into business, and that's farther, from traditional education standpoint than my family has gone. And my brother's building a business as well. I know he's going to be monumentally successful, but he's a little younger and I'm a little farther ahead. And I'm a little bit more entrepreneurial than he is. And so, yeah, I actually think at this point, I'm probably the most successful person in my family. My cousins are pretty successful too, but I'm going to beat them also in a good way, in a healthy brother way.
Good, good. Again, it's friendly competition in that sense.
That's it. That's
Cool.
it. I want them to win. I just want to win bigger.
Mhm. Um, then let's say plans a bit more about plans for the future.
Sure.
Now that you are on this trajectory, you did mention how you envision yourself, but what about financial goals, mental goals, maybe even spiritual, if you're
Sure.
inclined in that sense, just anything.
Yeah.
Let's say long term, medium term. I mean, short term, medium term, long term.
Sure. Absolutely. So in the short term, I'll make one quick caveat. As I mentioned to you as we started recording, I started a coaching business that was heavily content oriented in November, shortly after I joined Hustlers University. And it was a great business. I learned a ton. I worked closely with my partner for a year before we decided that his goals and my goals were different. We wrapped up that business, which is honestly, I think, the right decision for me because I'm so focused now on my primary business. I have increased my goals for that business, and it comes down to self-image again, and also like the self-image, I guess, of the business. In real estate, I've been serving traditional homes and what makes sense for like the average person to live in and rent and whatever. And I've started escalating my sales outreach as far as quality of prospect, which I attribute largely to Professor Moneybags Madden. As far as I'm now targeting luxury, return on energy, I call it. I do the same amount of work and I make way more money because I'm dealing with a higher quality of clientele. And so I think that's one thing that I got from Hustlers University that's already coming to fruition. Is now I'm talking to, as an example, the client I'm looking to close this week has three $5 million properties that I would take over operations. He's underperforming financially, and I have showed him the financial projections of what I would do differently and how I can almost double his income. And so we're going through the motions right now, proving why I'm right and just, nurturing this lead, but I'm so certain I'm going to close it. And so in the short term, it's the quality of clients and the specific focus that I have. For more of a medium term, I guess that hasn't changed too much. I kind of see, I kind of know what I want next. I shouldn't say kind of. I actually do know exactly what I want next. So I know what the house is going to look like. I know what zip code it's in. I know what car I'm going to drive. And it's, not even my ultimate pinnacle goals, but it's attainable and it's close. I think Hustlers University has sped up my trajectory to get to those goals with the McLaren, with the mansion that's on the mountaintop in Scottsdale, because here's the desert and that's our landscape beauty. And I know I'm going to get it. Like, I know for a fact I'm going to get it because, as I think I said this right before we started recording as well, the benefit of working with these professors is that I know what I'm doing is complete. I'm not missing anything, and it's correct. So I can keep my head down and keep going. And I see that medium-term vision is going to connect. On a long-term basis, Hustlers University and even Tate's free content has pivoted my view of globalism and the threats that we're facing as individual citizens without money, brotherhood, and power. And so I see that I need to be able to live and have business in multiple countries and have that freedom, geographical freedom, in addition to the financial freedom. I guess I didn't realize that. And even seeing what I see in America, boots on the ground, I didn't make the association. Wow, I need multiple passports. Wow, I need to have friends in Dubai just in case. You know what I mean? And so now I'm building a much bigger vision that way where I could be more fluid and dynamic. And I think the last thing is I'm also in that fitness campus, and it's a really good campus. I hadn't considered how much your physical body will make you money as a matter of health, mindset, and then imposing in the room without having to say a thing on another man saying, yeah, I take care of myself just like I take care of everything in my life. And so if you work with me, your life will get better too.
That is very well said.
Thanks.
Awesome. Um, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, where did your mindset come from? Because you said even before joining Hustlers University, you had a similar kind of mindset of
Yeah.
7 to 11, just working, not really wanting to do degen things. But Was that because you were just doing it earlier on in your life and now you're tired of it, or was it just something else? What?
A little bit. So I guess coming up through college, I partied plenty in college. I still got great grades. That was always a benchmark for me. Is when school was my goal and I didn't know any better about the education system. That was my pinnacle. Is don't lose. I'm an A student, and in the meantime, fit as much partying in as I possibly could. My goal was fun, and so as I got into the real world of working, and I was a bar back and then a server and then a bartender, and coming up through some blue collar type jobs, you I realized that that wasn't it. It's not just make as much money as I can and then go party. It's build a life, work life integration. And so I went to law school thinking that becoming a lawyer would make me more money. And I did really well. Again, A's and top of my class, great internships, great friends. I got the most out of that experience. I also got the most debt out of that experience. And then I got out of law school, and I remember the night before I started my first law job, which was to work directly in a judge's chambers, a very prestigious job that people would like fight each other for. I was the night before, I was up all night thinking of different business ideas, and I remember thinking to myself, it's probably not a good idea to be starting this elite job already looking to get out. And it was around then that I started really hating my life. Truthfully, I hated being an attorney. I hated being submissive to bosses who I didn't respect, who were nowhere near in their own lives where I wanted to go in mine. And then they're an authority trying to hold me back. And it just, everything about it really, really sucked. And it was around then my brother actually saved me from. I like Tate. I don't believe in depression, but I know where my head was at, and it wasn't good. And my brother introduced me to Tony Robbins first, was my OG mindset mentor, and I started getting into the Tony Robbins world of Unleash the Power Within is a great summit and seminar he does. I was part of the first ever virtual one. I remember in my studio pounding my chest, changing my whole psyche, and shifting into the new person I was going to become. I got really deep into that. Then about I guess I was an attorney. So I did the judge thing for about 8 months to a year, something like that. I was an attorney for another 8 months to a year, something like that, and miserable the entire time. And it was around then that I realized I had to get out and go create my own thing. And working through that Tony Robbins type mindset, I felt that confidence that I could, and I found real estate. Not only did I find real estate, Robert Kiyosaki was my first understanding of real estate through his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, a very common wealth building intro book. And I realized that Airbnbs, I saw an ad on Instagram for how to learn how to do Airbnb. And I was like, that is on all fours with everything I've learned about real estate, with a lower barrier to entry and higher cash flow. And while I agree with building wealth through equity and exits, I also think that to get out of a job, if you're in a W-2 and you need to get out of a job, equity doesn't pay bills. Cash flow does. And that's where this business model was great for me to make a quick exit. And 6 weeks after I learned about Airbnb, I quit my law job, got full time into real estate, and found a community not unlike Hustlers University, but specific to that industry. What was perfect was that the leader of that group, his name is Mike as well, Mike taught us not only the business and the mechanical things, but the mindset behind business. And that's what really started opening my mind up to infinite intelligence, the power of the universe, and how to connect with Creator to let the universe flow through me and create abundance in my world for others, which will then create abundance for me. And so learning that about mindset, that was maybe 4 years ago now, that I've been actively studying mindset and the universe and wealth and abundance. Books like Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill, as well as more mechanical, real estate and wealth business books. Big fan of Hormozy, just as another example. But the mindset is really what I studied the most for the last 4 years.
And that's what people don't understand, because the only thing really holding you back is yourself and your mindset.
That's it. That's it. Everything internal passes out into visible results. And if you change something in here, it'll pass out differently into your real world. And that's what it is. If you keep on that correct vibration, and I do mean correct, there's, I guess, a sliding scale, but there's definitely wrong vibrations, and I've spent time on those, and I know what it feels like. And when you can be intentional with your thoughts to stay on that positive wavelength and manifest your ascent, it comes so much faster.
Mm-hmm. And speaking with successful people who have accomplished the things they dreamed of, that's it's way too common to be a coincidence. basically what
Yeah.
you're saying. A lot of it was them dreaming it, and then however long later they achieved it. Obviously, some work was involved in that, but it's just even there are some stories I want to say, but it'd be way too long to say. But there's like a really close friend, and he said to me anything he's ever dreamed of, even good or bad, he ended up getting eventually.
Hmm.
So
I believe
even
that.
that, you need to be careful of exactly what you have in your mind, because even some negative things, you will manifest them as well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Thoughts are just energy, and everything is energy. So if you initiate it, this is the energy we control. And if you initiate it on the right direction, then it'll pass out the way you want it to pass out. But if you get stuck, if you're in a bad negative loop and you can't break it, that will naturally manifest itself. People don't realize that by carrying themselves a certain way, if you're nervous, everyone knows you're nervous. And then if you're trying to make a sale, but you're nervous about how you carry yourself and how you present, then you look less confident. Why would they buy from you? Why are you someone they can trust, in my case, with an expensive real estate asset, whether it's $800,000 or a $5 million mansion? Why would I be the one that they trust if I'm nervous even to talk to them? There's going to be a lot of situations where I need to talk, but if I walk in, my voice is slow and calm, and I'm like, this is the situation you're in. You got here because of the current management. They're not doing the right things in these specific examples. Those specific examples, those are my specialties. So if you want to be here, this is your dream outcome. I'll get you there by giving you the things that this guy just never gave you. I know I can do that for you. That's what I do. And they're like, okay, you're right about the context, you're right about the vision, and you seem unequivocally confident that you can get me there and bridge that gap. So much more appealing for a prospect. And I
mhm.
credit Dylan Madden quite a bit, Professor Madden, for he speaks on mindset in addition to the mechanical. And the blend is where the success comes, I found.
Awesome. I think that's very good value. Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.
And I'm happy to wrap up with a final question.
Sure.
So, for people who are unsure about joining Hustlers University because they're thinking, man, $50, I don't know, might be a scam.
Might be a
Oof,
scam.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. $50. Oof. I'd rather spend that on I don't know, on two Starbuckses.
Yeah.
That won't scam me. Anyway, without drifting off point, what advice would you have to those people?
To address the scam thing, as funny as it is, Tate says it on a few different episodes of, or for a few different emergency meetings. He's like, I don't need your money. I don't need any money. So to get the scam concept just completely out of anybody's head, the $50 isn't moving the needle for anybody inside this campus. It's more of a volume game. It's not one specific sale. They don't need you. You need them. Them being Hustlers University, the professors, the Tate brothers, everybody who helps yourself more than they need you. So it's not a scam. It's just not. That's just not a thing. It's just not a scam. It's just not a thing. So let's eliminate that. And then as a matter of, well, is it worth it? $50 times 12 is $600 a year. I you literally, if you eliminate $600, if you save $600 doing absolutely anything, it's worth it because you will make that back so fast if you do the right thing. If you're a lazy person by nature, maybe you'll have less success than someone who's a hardworking person by nature. But even you, as a lazy current loser, getting into Hustlers University will teach you how to change that so you're not a loser anymore. And that type of non-loser mentality will show you how to make $600 across a whole year. 365 days, you don't think you can make $600 back? So worst case scenario, you only make $600 and you learn some stuff. And I can't even fathom a world where that's your actual outcome. The reality is you're going to join for $50. You're going to learn way more than $50 worth of information across the first month that you're in there. I would be shocked if people aren't making $50 to $100 back in the first month to 2 months because there's so many options. There's 18 different campuses. There's 18 different ways to make money. Find what resonates with you. There's quick and easy wins. The Hustlers campus, you can make $50 in a day. It doesn't even matter. Or you could literally be patient with it. Consider the $600 for the whole year an investment. I would even sign up for Champions, do the 2 years thing. Commit yourself so you know you're all in. $1,200 across 2 years. That is so much time to learn how to make money. And if you start in the wrong campus and it just doesn't resonate with you, I just don't want to do ecom. Okay, we have 17 other options. So find something that clicks, find something that makes money. I'm sure you will find monumental success by implementing the mindset and the mechanical of what they teach in Hustlers University.
Love that. Once again, very well said. I probably repeated that a lot, but I do truly mean it. All right, and
Well, I
now
appreciate it.
for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Please find me on Instagram. That's my favorite, is at Mike Stone Group. I have a luxury vacation rental business. I'm obsessed with real estate. I post content that I find valuable in my own experience that I hope people can use. I know people do use to make a lot of money that way. So you can find me at Mike Stone Group. And if you want to learn a little bit more about my vacation rental business and how I got started with almost no money, it was a phenomenal entrepreneurial endeavor and a great decision. My business is online at zivaestates.com, ZIVA estates.com.
Okay, we'll add those to the description of the video, so anyone who's interested can check that. And yeah, Mike, thank you for coming on, for sharing your story. Very inspiring. Will be very interesting to hear. I'd look forward to do a follow-up with you at some point in future, because with the mindset you have, again, just prove to everyone that's the most important part. You have your vision set out, you have the mindset right. So I just don't see how you fail. Success is inevitable. So
I
I
agree
want
with that
that
very
to be
much.
documented as well. So let's do a follow-up in future. And it was great
That
speaking to you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. It would be my pleasure to come back, and thank you for having me.